It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woo-hooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
How would you like a 15% discount to my daily email, the stack of stuff, the show notes, discounts to the conference, all of that? All you need to do is text the word show to 33777. You'll get the annual subscription with a 15% discount to my daily email. You'll get the stack of stuff, the links to the show notes, discounts to the conference, and so much more. All you have to do is text the word show, SHOW, to 33777. Text show to 33777.
Welcome to the Eric Erickson Show podcast, Hour 3.
Welcome to all of you across the fruited plain. It's Eric Erickson here from my flagship station, WSB, broadcasting out across America. The phone number that's open line Friday, 877-973-7425. Text the word Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. Subscribe to the show notes. Now, before I move on to anything else, I got something to tell y'all. I did something, caused a little bit of controversy. I want to take a phone call from Ellaby, who is waiting patiently. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm fine. How about yourself?
I'm great.
Good. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I've been pastoring a church here in the Austell area for like 29 years, and it's a small church. We started out as a pretty good group of people, but now the old people have paid their dues, and all they want to do is go to church. Nobody really wants to kind of get involved in ministry very much. I also work a job. I'm tucking my shirt in right now before I'm about to check in about 6 minutes. I drive a transit bus.
Oh, wow.
So I call it my portable pulpit. I probably can reach more people who are desperate and who probably are not trying to be a status quo on the bus. People are in need, believe it or not. I wish I could get anybody and everybody to ride the bus, at least from one end to the other, to see that there's some real people out here who are really concerned about America, who's really concerned about a whole lot of issues that, are taboo to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But you most definitely are on point dealing with ministry. My church is in an association, and I really don't fellowship with a lot of those guys. They tend to like to swap $100 at anniversaries, and that's about it. Pat you on the back with one hand and pull you in with the other.
Mm-hmm.
We moved here from Oakland, California. We did ministry there, which was great. And I've pretty much settled in to the point where now my wife she's content with the vacations that we take, and it's time to retire.
Well, look.
Back and listen.
Thank you for calling in and for sharing. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you, because it was only, I want to say, in the last year or two that it was my pastor brought it up, that how it actually is not common for pastors in America to have full-time jobs in ministry, that most of them actually have jobs elsewhere and then do it on Sunday. And it never even dawned on me that was the majority. I assumed it was the minority, and completely the opposite in this country.
Yeah, absolutely right. Look, I ride a motorcycle too, man. I got me an Indian, a dark horse, and I kind of free myself that way. But nice. I really do appreciate your show, and so does my wife. Man.
Look, I appreciate it a ton. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you, and good luck with the day job as well. That's driving a bus in Metro Atlanta traffic. Yikes. Y'all, I'm in a little bit of hot water on the internet. I put it off till now. I stand by everything. I'm going to record this. Philip can put it up if he wants or not. Rafat Al-Arir, He's one of Gaza's most prominent writers, activists. He was dead. He was killed in an airstrike. His sister's home was hit. His brother, sister, her 4 kids, others died. He's dead. I commented on the tweet about his death, and my comment was the word good. Stand by it. A baby, an Israeli baby, was found in an oven. Hamas had taken the baby, placed the child in an oven, and turned it on. Eli Beer recounted this. His group was among the first to respond to and witness the atrocities of October 7th. Hamas literally threw a Jewish baby in an oven and baked the baby alive. Rafat al-Arir, who died yesterday in an Israeli airstrike, commented about the baby being baked alive in the oven, and his comment was this: with or without baking powder. That was his comment. Wonder if they put baking powder on the JDAM. Good riddance. The man was a prominent advocate for what Hamas was doing. And, there are consequences. It is increasingly clear that it is not Hamas that's the problem, but the people of Gaza, the majority of them who cheer on the Hamas atrocities, not because they live in fear of Hamas, but because they support it. These people, Israel's providing them a path out, providing them a path to safety, and their own government is blocking them, their own government. I am more and more mindful of the fact that a lot of these people, they are the enemy. They certainly don't sound at all like they are our friends. This is the executive director of the Council of American Islamic Relations. Listen to this. Nahad Awad. Listen.
So I hope, unlike so many people who only woke up to October 7th, the people of Gaza have been aware and living every day of October 6th, 5th, 4, 3, 1, and September 31st, and all the way to 1956. The people of Gaza only decided to break the siege, the walls of the concentration camp, on October 7th. And yes, I was happy to see people breaking the siege and throwing down the shackles of their own land and walk free into their lands that they were not allowed to walk in.
Listen,
and
he's
yes,
talking about going into Israel.
The people of Gaza have the right to self-defense, have the right to defend themselves. And yes, Israel as an occupying power does not have that right to self-defense.
Got that? Israel doesn't have a right to self-defense because it's an occupying power. And he's talking about how the people of Gaza broke down the wall and took back their land, went into their land. He's meaning into Israel to kill the Israelis.
And this is not me emotionally speaking. This is what the international law says, that an occupier power has no self-defense from the territory it occupies. While we hear the entire world, hypocritical world, is denying the occupied the right to self-defense and granting the right to be aggressive to the occupier.
This is a justification of Hamas. Not Hamas as a terrorist organization, Hamas as a governing entity taking back its land, meaning the land of Israel. This is the executive director of the Council of American Islamic Relations. This man is on the side of terrorist enemies of this country. This is the voice of the leading Islamic organization in this country. He's siding with terrorists who threw a baby into an oven and baked that baby alive. He's siding with the terrorists who tied a father and child together, poured gasoline on them while they were alive, and lit a match. He's talking about defending the terrorist who chopped off the heads of children. He's talking about the terrorist who raped women so violently they broke their pelvises before putting bullets in their head. He's talking about the terrorist who killed children and grandmothers. He's talking about the terrorist who killed kids who went to a music festival for peace. He's talking about defending those people, saying they were taking back their land and that Israel has no right to self-defense because it is an oppressive occupier of Palestinian territory. This man's an abomination. This man is evil. This man and his organization are not on the side of the Americans and frankly should probably be put on the terror watch list after saying something like that. The White House has denounced him, not by name, but very clearly about him, denounced him. The president released a statement denouncing him. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the congresswoman from Georgia, she went to an event with the white supremacist Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is a white supremacist, white nationalist, hates the Jews, made jokes about killing Jews and the Holocaust. I doubt Marjorie Taylor Greene knew any of that. She was roundly condemned for having gone to his event and has shied away from him ever since. But Republicans were forced to denounce her, had cameras shoved in their face, say, what do you think about her going to this guy's event? Democrats are rarely ever forced to denounce showing up at Louis Farrakhan's Nation of Islam events. They should be denounced for having anything to do with CARE, the Council of American Islamic Relations. They should be made to run for the hills and distance themselves from this. This man justifying the beheading of babies. This man is justifying baking a child in an oven, burning the child up in an oven. This man is defending the raping of women. An Islamic imam in Gaza has come out now and said it's justified. The sexual abuse of the Israeli women is actually justified in the Quran, this imam has said. These people are monsters. And the monsters need to be put down in some capacity or another, silenced, driven out, cast out, shunned, shamed. But you have no sense of shame if you think that Israel has no right to self-defense. And the Gaza scholar who died, good riddance to the man. He was a Hamas supporter who gave voice to Hamas and legitimized its cruelty and actions. I apologize for nothing on that front. These people have no shame in their cruelty and their monstrousness and in their ability to justify their evil. They claim their evil is good and that the good is evil. No, we need moral clarity. And I got to say, good for Joe Biden and the White House for releasing a statement. They wanted to dance around it. They wanted to play footsie because they don't want to lose the Islamic vote. But they did come out and put distance between them and the executive director of CARE. They should do more, but at least they did that. You know someone who's provided some moral clarity? I'll tell you who after I play the audio.
We've seen the presidents of some of our most elite universities literally unable to denounce calling for the genocide of Jews as anti-Semitic. That lack of moral clarity is simply unacceptable. We've seen a restaurant owner who's a friend of mine accused of genocide simply because he's Jewish. We've all seen college students afraid to go to class. We've seen people afraid to go to markets, afraid to go to synagogues, literally being attacked on our streets.
That was the vice president's husband, who is Jewish. The second gentleman of the United States of America. Dug him off. Good for him, providing some more clarity. I'm telling you guys, listen, I think this is a point you really need to take home. You and I can disagree so vehemently on the politics of so many people on the other side, but you need to note who's standing against clear evil and who's not on the other side. And as many of them are not, there are some who are, and it's worth pointing out that those people are standing on a clear side between good and evil.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Greetings. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. Open line Friday, 877-973-7425. I can squeeze in one call here before we got to go to break. Alan, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you, Eric. I love listening to you. As I'm a native Atlanta Jewish Georgian, I want to thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts.
Hang on, folks. We might have just found like an authentic unicorn. You are a native Jewish Atlantan.
I am. So is my father.
Wow. Y'all don't understand. Like, nobody from Atlanta is from Atlanta, but Alan is from Atlanta.
Yeah, born and raised. Never lived above the Mason-Dixon line. Nice.
Good for you.
And I've never faced anti-Semitism, period, down here. Went through public elementary, public high school, very welcoming community that a lot of people up north don't believe that is true, but it is. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. We have felt very lonely and afraid during these last few months, and your full-throated defense of Israel and the Jewish people have brought tears to my eyes. You have no idea how much we appreciate it. I'm picking up carpool. I'm retired. I'm picking up carpool at my grandchildren's school, and it is literally an armed camp. I'm raising grandchildren in this world. We need you, and we need more people like you. So thank you.
Alan, I thank you very much, Alan. I appreciate it tremendously. Thank you for your kind words. Man, two today, Charlie. You led through two people to say something nice about me. That's amazing. In all seriousness, though, I am a firm believer there are real rights and real wrongs, and there's real good and there's real evil. And I don't think Israel is a perfect nation or a flawless nation any more than I think the United States is. But there's no dispute that this is a nation that was at peace until monsters invaded on October 7th. And you can't justify with whatabouts the fallout from the massacre that Hamas engaged in and then blame the people of Israel and the Jewish people of the world for wanting to defend themselves. They're on the right side, Hamas, and the Palestinians are not, and those who defend them. Now, I got to tell you, a group that I enjoy being with because they're so often right and on the right side of history is Americans for Prosperity. They fight for limited government. They fight for free markets and free people. And really importantly, around the country, they are one of the chief fighters for school choice and school reform in this country that is so badly needed, and for free market reform in healthcare. Those are two big issues that should galvanize everyone on the right to lower costs in healthcare and provide parents access to great education for their kids wherever they can find it. And AFP wants you on their side in those fights. And you can join them at americansforprosperity.org/Eric. americansforprosperity.org/ERICK. Go sign up with AFP. They'll teach you the best arguments to be the most persuasive, to bring the most people to our side, to fight for free markets and free people, to fight for school choice and free market healthcare reform. americansforprosperity.org/Eric.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hello and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across America. The phone number, Open Line Friday, 877-973-7425. I'm going to go to Saeed. Welcome to the program. How are you?
Hello. How are you?
Hi. Good. What's going on?
Good. I'm from Iran, and I think that before, when Republican was in power, everybody thought that if they voted for Democrats, they would change the regime in Iran. Most Iranians thought that way. But after 3 years and last year, a lot of kids that are in jails and they're being killed or tortured, and there's still nothing happened with this regime. And I think that most people that they're Iranian, they're changing and they're turning back to Republican and hoping that they would change this regime of dictatorship. But not to forget that the regime of Iran, there's no difference between them and Hamas. What they done, Hamas did in Israel, Iran is doing it to their people, Iranian regime.
So, Saeed, let me ask you, so did your family leave Iran while you were alive, or did they immigrate before you were born during the revolutionary period?
We left, actually right after, my brother was here or came before revolution and became 1983. So right after the revolution, we came out.
And what part of the country you're from?
I'm from Isfahan.
Oh, nice. Oh, what a beautiful place.
It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful country, beautiful people. Very peaceful. But this regime is taking hostages of the whole country. They're evil. They're evil.
I don't know that Americans appreciate as they should that the overwhelming population of people in Iran are oppressed. They're not on the side of the mullah and the ayatollahs. They're freedom-loving people who can't get out of a totalitarian regime. Wonderful. Some of my best friends growing up overseas had fled the revolution. One of my best friends' fathers and grandfather had worked for the Shah's government. They had to flee. They were bankers. And then I had some other friends who actually were from Isfahan, which is how I know the city. They had pictures of the city, and they lived with us in Dubai, and just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. And I've stayed in touch with some of them, and they have family back in Iran, and as best they can talk to them and gather around the prying eyes of the government, they are repressed people yearning to breathe free, and it is horrible that the American government, particularly under the Obama and now the Biden administrations, have just refused to help those people. When you had the people protesting in the streets during the summer of turmoil in Arab nations, and suddenly in Iran, you have the people marching to the streets, and Obama turned his back on him. It was just, it felt like such a betrayal of such a wonderful people.
Yes, it was. And so as last year. Last year, the same thing happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and still going on. I saw yesterday that they hanged a 15-year-old for saying something against the Ayatollah. It's just I wish Americans could go to Iran and see how beautiful it is and how wonderful the people are.
I was hoping that people would understand that Hamas is no different than the regime of Iran. And if we want to get rid of Hamas and their money, the power, their guns, everything comes from Iran. So why don't we focus on Iran and changing that regime and helping the people of Iran?
We absolutely should. I am 1,000% with you. The only major difference is that in Iran, the people do not support the regime. And unfortunately, in Gaza, so many of the people have for so long been brainwashed into thinking Hamas are their liberators. The people of Iran know better that the Iranian regime is not just the enemy, but funding terrorists around the world. It is awful. And, as an aside, by the way, Saeed, the people I know who are from Israel are some of the most vocal Muslims against Hamas and what's happened to Israel. And a lot of them actually have relatives who were Jewish in Iran before the purges in the late 1970s. Even though they were Muslim and Jews, they lived in peace with each other. And people don't understand that.
Of course. Isfahan, in city that I lived, we had Jewish and we had Christians. We lived among each other, and they were fine. Everybody's just friends. I mean, if you go to Isfahan, it's one of the oldest churches right in Isfahan. It's beautiful. And we have Jewish people in there, too. It's amazing.
It is, and so many now have to live in fear on a daily basis because of that awful regime. Look, thank you so much for calling in. That makes my day.
Thank you very much for letting me
Isfahan
be
is
on
such a beautiful place.
on the air.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yo, I wish, and folks, I've never been to Iran, but I grew up with a lot of friends who were refugees from the revolution, and they had beautiful pictures in their houses, and they're the nicest people. The Iranian people are just some of the smartest, kindest people. I have a real passion for the people of Iran because I grew up with them, and their lives had been in turmoil because of the Iranian Revolution and the rise of the Islamic radicals in Iran and the Ayatollah and their death to America. And the people there, it's not like the situation in Gaza where the majority of people are on the side of Hamas. And in Iran, they live in daily fear. The majority of people who yearn to be free, they are engineers and doctors and lawyers. They're school teachers. They're stay-at-home moms, and they are on a daily basis live in fear of their government. For all the people in this country, who hate the government, if you're a Democrat, you hate it when Republicans are in charge, or a Republican, you hate it when the Democrats are in charge. You don't have to live on a daily basis in fear of your government. One of the things the Democrats are so obsessed with Trump is that, we'll have to live in fear of the government. Donald Trump will use the government against us. It's the Biden administration that's pulling pro-lifers out of their homes at gunpoint. It was the Obama administration that sued the nuns to try to force them to pay for abortions. But you don't have to fear your government. If you go out tomorrow to your town square with a bullhorn and you say, blankety blank Joe Biden, you are not going to have a rope put around your neck and hoisted up by a crane for all to see as you choke and die. But that's going to happen in Iran if you stand in the street with a bullhorn and say death to the Ayatollah or screw the Ayatollah. They're going to hang you by a crane in the town square and leave your body until your corpse is rotted enough that your head separates from the rest of your body around that rope. And they're going to do it willfully and intentionally to scare the people into submission. And in a lot of regimes over time, the people succumb. But not the Iranians. They need help. The majority of them are so opposed to the Ayatollah, and many of those alive still to this day remember what it was like before. And the Shah was not a perfect regime. Do not think that the Shah was somehow perfect. It wasn't. But the people themselves are wonderful, freedom-loving people who love the United States. That they have to be forced at gunpoint to chant death to America because they don't believe it. They're the Iranians everywhere under the sun I've ever gone and met Iranians who have fled the regime. They are some of the most pro-America people, and they also support Israel. They're Shiite Muslims who support Israel because they know what it's like to live under the regime of the Ayatollahs. So they know what it's like to live under the regime of Hezbollah and Hamas, and they know they're funded by the Ayatollahs, so they're the enemy, and that if they're the enemy, Israel cannot be the enemy. It's just remarkable. And we in this country, we really just don't have an appreciation of this country. Right now, I didn't mean, Saeed, this is your fault. I'm getting off on. Y'all don't understand how much I love the Iranian people. You can't. I realize you didn't grow up as I grew up, and my friends growing up, and the stories they told and to live with their parents and grandparents having fled this repressive regime, and to be like the most pro-Ronald Reagan, pro-American people you will ever meet on planet Earth. And they were just the kindest people. And everyone I've met from Iran who's been able to flee, it's the same way. They are just wicked, smart, hardworking people who love Iran and hate the government and love this country. It makes me sad for them that it's such a beautiful country run by the worst people on the planet. James, you're going to be next. Welcome to wait, James, how are you?
Yes, hi. I just would like to very much add to what you're saying. I've had the good fortune to travel to about 70 countries around the world. I have my own business giving slideshows, actually in the Carolinas here, and nursing homes and schools with lots of international travel. And when I was in Iran, I was walking down the streets of one of the major cities there, and a car pulled up along the sidewalk and rolled down the window and said, "Hey, are you from America?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "Get in the car. We're going to take you to lunch." And I naturally, I grew up with stranger danger and all that. And I saw young children in the car and people smiling. And I said, "Okay, I'll take the chance." They took me to the most expensive restaurant in town. We talked for over 3 hours, had the greatest time of my life. And I just want to tell you that the Iranian people, the average civilians, just like you're saying in the radio, are probably among the absolute nicest people in the entire world. And the government is the problem.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And,
it's so sad.
Parallels a little bit about what we're going through here in terms of our government, but I won't get into that part.
Yeah, probably. We don't have enough time for that. But listen, James, I appreciate that, and impressed you're able to go over and have those conversations there. It really is. They are great people. They are just great people. All right. I need to move on to other things. I'll just tell you guys, I am. As soon as the show is over, I got to run home, round up my kids. So I do my show. I've got a studio near my house now, so I'm not having to commute every day to the main office. And I was at the main office yesterday because I did an event. I bought this humidor. There's this company called Amador, and I needed a humidor. I had this growing cigar collection. People were sending me cigars. I was buying them for friends. I don't tend to smoke a lot of cigars, but I have friends who come over and they do, and I like to have nice cigars for them. And I know among my friends, I tend to have higher income, and I can buy the nicer cigars and keep them for my friends. And I bought this humidor from this place called Amador's. They take surplus military equipment and convert them into humidors. And I bought a landmine crate from the Vietnam War, and they converted it into a humidor with cedar lining. It's a double humidor, holds about 500 cigars. It has a 50 caliber bullet as a handle. It's cool. It is so cool. And I carried the thing, weighs about 50 pounds. I carried it up to a fundraiser last night in Atlanta for Reformed Theological Seminary. And the whole thing was, come hear me talk about the value of the seminary and how donors should support that seminary. And then you can hang out with me and smoke cigars, as opposed to my bourbon, which I save for Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, and a fundraiser for that. It was a great time, had a great, and then I had to drive home last night, hour and a half from there back to my house, and now I got to go round up my kids as soon as the show is over and drive back to Atlanta to see Nate Bargatze. He turns 15 tomorrow. I'm saying my 14-year-old, but tomorrow he turns 15, is a huge fan of stand-up comedy and loves Bargatze. So I'm taking him. I got good seats tonight, and we're going to stay at a hotel so that I can take him tomorrow for his birthday. We can go to Airsoft, because he's suddenly gotten into airsoft. Oh, my gosh, that is an expensive thing to get into. And the Lego store in Atlanta, and buy himself a birthday present. Take his sister with us, I guess. Yeah, we'll take his sister with us, and we're going to have a good time. My wife is beside herself with joy. My wife gets the house, just her and the dog, tonight. She's like, it's like a vacation, and I don't have to leave home. Like, yep, you get to take the vacation. The rest of us will be out of the house. It should be a fun time. Bargatze, if you're not into stand-up comedy and you want a clean comedian, he does not use profanity at all in his comedy. It's just very funny comedy about life. Nate Bargatze is the comedian you want. He is just a wonderful, wonderful comedian. And I have not told my kids yet, so I got it arranged for us to have 2 rooms at the hotel, connecting rooms. So I guess I'm going to give my oldest the room to herself so she can have the king-size bed, and my son and I can have the queen-size beds in the other room. Give her some, well, she takes long showers, and she's a girl with a lot of stuff, so she can have the room to herself, I guess. We'll see what her brother says. It's his birthday. It should be a good time, and my wife gets to not have us in the house. Tonight, she gets peace and quiet. So we'll get Bargatze, she'll get peace and quiet, and everybody will be happy.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
A buddy of mine texted me and says, "Don't you mean the Persian people, not the Iranian people?" I was like, "Man, I only got 3 hours in a day. I couldn't explain all that to everybody." Oh, but yes, yeah, he's technically right. I read the Time magazine profile. Taylor Swift, she's the person of the year. She has a great line in there. She doesn't have to worry about defeating her enemies. The trash takes itself out. It was a very interesting profile, and I would encourage you to read it, whether you're a fan of Taylor Swift or not. My daughter is a fan of Taylor Swift, and I will inevitably get some angry, and it's usually a female of a particular age. She says, "I can't believe you let your daughter listen to Taylor Swift. Don't you know about her politics?" I don't care. She's a brilliant musician who it does incredible fan service. But I bring this up for a particular reason. So last year, I first have to tell Philip he and I got it wrong. I had to pull up the original article. Of the top 100 TV telecasts last year, of the top 100, I've said 86. It was 94. 94 of the top 100 were sports. And 82 of them were the NFL. In fact, here's the list of the top 10 most watched TV shows in 2022. Number 1, the Super Bowl. Number 2, the Rams 49ers NFC Championship. Number 3, the Chiefs Bengals AFC Championship. Number 4, the Chiefs Bills AFC Divisional Playoff. Number 5, the Giants Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Number 6, the NFC Wild Card 49ers Cowboys. Number 7, Buccaneers Rams in the NFC Divisional Playoff. Number 8, Packers 49ers NFC Divisional Playoff. Number 9, the State of the Union on every network as opposed to an individual network like football. Number 10, the Bills Lions Thanksgiving game. 82 of the top 100 were NFL events. I bring up the Taylor Swift thing because she has generated a surge in viewership. Now, follow along here. The number 3 and the number 4 most watched TV games and the number 13 were all involving the Kansas City Chiefs. And because she's dating Travis Kelce, Chiefs games are regularly, every week that they play now, the most watched telecast on television. More people are watching the Kansas City Chiefs play football than anything else in America right now because Taylor Swift is dating one of the football players. It's remarkable whether you like the girl or not, the woman or not. She can single-handedly stimulate economic boons in town. It really is impressive. And the fact that she has so much, not just star power, but fan relatability, it's an impressive accomplishment for someone. And now just going to drive up the viewership of the NFL even more. Just fascinating. You guys have a great weekend. I'll talk to you on Monday.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.